The Klavia season is pretty good, but here's where I stand about this game. I'm gonna tell you guys very quickly about just a couple of things that I wanted to say about this game very quickly. The future that Klavia needs to take and how I feel about this game, dislikes and likes and sort of stuff like that, obviously for the first season. Obviously, Nusicon, if you're watching, I think your game has potential, but obviously it's not towards that potential yet first season. Let's go ahead and jump into this season that we're looking at. Inaugural season, we wanted a theme that represents renewal. Obviously, the renewal of NT comps being brought back up through the ashes. So we have the ugly duckling growing to a beautiful swan. We have flowers blooming and blossoming, and we have the flappity, which is like just butterflies. Maybe the wings on this work. Let me know if you start suddenly flying. And this reminds me of looking back at screenshots and snapshots of old NitroType. Obviously, as a NitroType YouTuber, this typing game is going to remind me of NitroType, but it more reminds me of Typer X in a way, and let me go ahead and go over to that right now. It reminds me in the same way because they tried to integrate keycaps and stuff like that. Obviously, sponsors, whatever this means. They tried to integrate TCAPs. It's been 10 years since they started, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, there's just a couple of cars that you can get, and there's not sort of progression and sort of active people who manage the website. There is Klavia, and I feel like Klavia is already sort of bigger than Typer X, but it's sort of like the direction that this game is going to remind me of. And so obviously for season 1, it's what I would expect from a season 1. Not too many cars, not too many senders, not too many of all that. The personal branding is a little bit insane. Like these, Klavia. I like the theme. I feel like the future that this game is gonna have to be competitive, and that's already what we're seeing with Donovan, Golden Shy Guy, and then obviously we're looking at some other people coming up into the season like Twilight, Rico, the Goat. Like that person, and then it's really never been really a competition. Even back, it was Typer versus Golden Shy Guy, and this dude Donovan comes out of nowhere. Obviously, you wouldn't want to race an alpha if you knew it was going to get deleted. Alpha races have already just been reduced to all of that grinding that people was doing, especially Typer on Team Hawk. But so, pretty much, I don't know where I would see this game in 5 years, if I'm being honest. For people who grind this game, obviously they're going to get their own cars, they're going to get stuff in the community. Obviously the Discord is pretty active, obviously even more active than some of the NitroType Discords, I must say, because it's drawn people in. It's sort of been like this beacon, and it's sort of hard to counterpose the juxtaposition that this game is sort of taking. I'm going to do a race and sort of explain the features that I like and what I sort of dislike. Now, for starting off with what I dislike these race text with all these enter keys. Obviously, the cars, I don't really like any of the cars, if I'm being honest. I feel like if they added a better painting system for like the cars and all that, holy, I need to lock in. Obviously, I don't like the shop. That's one thing that I've been publicly griping about. I do like the quests, and I'll get into the difference and why I sort of don't like the shop, but like the quests. The way they operate the shop is based off of these senders, and you need to buy quests to get cars, which is a pretty interesting take as opposed to just straight up copying NitroType. I like how they're sort of coming into their own style of this pixel art type of deal, which is they have humans in here, which is pretty weird. Twist of Fate, which is this SUV, obviously the old Sienna. Black Knight, which is the Gotham, this pixel art style that they sort of have going. I don't really like the cars or the shop, in my opinion. And the reason why is because they have sort of this season shop, they have this team shop, which obviously I'm never going to be able to access because I don't like the idea of teams. I just don't like the idea of teams. For Nitromath, I started my team just because I've even stopped working on it too hard. I've sort of come to a place where I stand on teams and Klavia working together as a team in the Klavia Typing League. This sort of shop, I just don't resonate with it. The way the senders work and all that, not really a big fan. However, I might become a big fan, who knows. This game is still in early development. Obviously the overarching team aspect, I've talked about that, on why I dislike it, the race text, the cars in the shop. I guess I'm going to start to be positive now. Let's talk about what I do like. The Klavia Typing League, This is different from the team aspect, but obviously I'm never going to compete in this Klavia typing league, but it is pretty fun to look at. Obviously you could look at the playoffs of, could you look at the brackets of last season? The bets, people are betting. Amber's bet, Amber's won. Oh, that's sort of like a betting currency that you get, I believe. Standings right now is MV, which I've heard they won, or VYN won last playoffs. They got the Golden Ring of Champions. What about MV? Did they get anything? Badges? No. Just Alpha Klavia team. Oh, they got the gold team of Alpha Klavia. Marvel. However, just these teams, I don't sort of like the idea of me being on one, but it is fun to watch and sort of see like the competitive nature of these people who just can keep on playing, and obviously just like, try to get more races and more races for the teams as opposed to the leaderboards, which is something that I do like as well, because it gives people like me who don't want to join a team a way to be on the leaderboards without joining a team, because you should see everybody's on a team. Everybody. He genuinely, Control Alt plus Revive is everybody on the same. Everybody on a team. I believe this goes by races, or I'm not sure, points maybe. I will be getting on here, and I will be the only person who is not going to be on a team. But I do like the fact that they have built-in leaderboards to like adjust for like people who don't want to be on a team, as I said. Obviously, these seasons is another thing that I like. I've expressed this before, but the seasons on Klavia are very promising. I like the way that they do this money type of thing. It is pretty confusing at first, but once you sort of get into it, it's just pretty fun to just sort of do races and all that, and just every now and then just sort of hop on, not take yourself too seriously, hop on some Klavia. And overall thoughts about this game is it's in early development, of course, but I just can't see it getting too far. I really just can't. Regardless, it is Klavia. It is a game out there that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for a typing game you just want to play sometimes, but for grinding, I would still prefer to stick to NitroType at the moment. I just don't. It's just comparing a finished product of years and years and years and years to something that just came out a couple weeks ago, and they're still developing, still in the community, still active. It's just pretty weird. And it's two completely different styles of games. One is like kids, wow, all these colors, wow, here, wow, let's do some fun typing, and let's do this. But Klavia's like that pixel art sort of style, where it's just like that nostalgia that you sort of feel while typing. But overall, my thoughts is positive for this game. For the future of this game, it's sort of foggy, but that's for NitroType 2, so no. Shout out to Nusakon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Sorry if I dragged this video out a little bit. I might try to go ahead and get it down a little